I've had the thumbs up signal. Good morning. Welcome, all of you. I am just so impressed that there's some people that have taken this as an event that they're willing to participate in on such an important day. You all, or many of you, know that there's another function going on today that's drawn so much attention. It's the meeting of the secular humanists this afternoon at 3 o'clock right here. We'll talk more about that later. We're going to sing today a lot of songs that we agreed upon during a very complex process to develop this service. And Ryan Richardson and Mrs. Payne contributed hugely to the selection of songs. Many of them will be familiar, I hope, to you, and it would be wonderful if you sing them like you mean it. These are pretty good songs.
That was Ryan Smith, by the way.
Oh, it was Ryan Smith. Well, yes, of course it was. Well, every Ryan helps, though. The likelihood is that the first song, One More Step, in the Gray Hymnal, number 168, is going to get you excited. So if you feel like standing, that's a good thing. If you can, let's do it. One more step.
One more
That was wonderfully done. Thank you. The welcoming words this morning, and I want to mention that our guest speaker, Mrs. Cornelia Payne, is representing the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Their branch is working on special events and notice for Black History Month, and that's our focus today. I'm the worship associate for this service. You probably knew that. And the theme for February is justice and equity. I'm facilitating this second Sunday, which is a representation of our interest in fellow organizations in our region that do good things, that provide service. Our concern is that we feature a nonprofit every second Sunday. And there's been some concern that that's kind of a habit that may be a challenge. And I, as a former nonprofit director, I want to notice that nonprofits are based on the education of their fellow citizens. And it is very important for us, I think, as Unitarian Universalists, to continue to notice the fellow service providers in our area. I'm wanting to welcome those who are watching on YouTube. And this week we gather together by singing, even as we, in many different places, are in a virtual space. We are welcome, you are welcome here at UUFCC, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background or spiritual journey. We know you come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to ask questions, to nurture and be nurtured, to explore new ideas. We come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. We trust you'll find something that you need here: comfort, connection, challenge, and love. And we hope you will find ways to help others. If you're new here, please stand up and wave as if you are comfortable. That's a tricky thing. And Doug will come and offer you the microphone so you can tell us who you are and where you came from. So we have a person.
Okay. Hi, I'm Judy Lawrence. I'm from Rochester, New York, where we were involved with the Unitarian Church from the time I was 20. And we have now moved down to Punta Gorda, and I'm looking forward to being involved here. Thank you.
Judy and I have been together for almost 48 years. And we have 2 children and 4 grandchildren, and we are living at the assisted living facility, Brookdale. And I have a lot of fun there, doing all kinds of music and fun things with the folks. So we've been Unitarians forever and ever, raised the kids in the church, and some of you probably know Dick Gill is the minister up there. And I'm interested in singing in your choir. So. And I'm delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
Yes, good morning. I'm Scott Mitchell. I live in Punta Gorda, and I'm visiting. I've had some friends who attend this church off and on, so I thought I'd check it out and say hello. Nice to see you all.
Somebody else? Oh. They're not new? Should I say something? No. No. Anybody else?
Thank you. And anyone who wants to know more about the fellowship, check out our website at uufcc.org or ask someone. We want you to know more about our organization, and we're awfully glad you decided to come and check us out. I'd offer thanks and praise for providing this sacred space for all of us this morning. It is due to core people, building people, administrative people, singing and music playing people, cleaning inside and outside people, sound and logistics people, committee people, function supporters, and those of you who have added to the compost. Much gratitude to all of you. Thank you. Next, we'll hear the prelude. Ryan Smith is going to play the prelude. We now will do the chalice lighting. Our service is a sacred time, and the chalice is our sacred symbol. It is a reminder that we gather in community, in a safe community, in this community that we have created together, which I have to remind you, and I'm also sorry, we have a policy and a preference that we say people's first names and not their last names. So as an inexperienced idiot up here, you have to know that didn't say the right names for people, so don't think you know who I was talking about. We'll have a reading from our gray hymnal, number 453. It is taken from the Passover Haggadah, and if you would like to read it as I say it. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of freedom. Laura, and we won't say her last name, is going to light the chalice. She's just one of our many Lauras. And our affirmation, if you'll say it with me, love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. The opening words this morning are a responsive testimony of NAACP branch accomplishments, where equity and justice transcend mere dreams. Ms. Payne, Connie Payne, is going to describe an NAACP element, and we will collectively answer each one. We shall not be moved. Let's say it with intention. We shall not be moved. Connie? If you like, the mic is a great place to talk.
So, good morning. I am truly honored to be here speaking before you. I feel humbled because I need to give you first a little bit of background of who I am. I am Connie Payne. I am the president of Branch 5093B, NAACP, but I'm also a mother. I have 2 children, 2 adult children. My son has 4 children, ranging from age 19 to 27. He's old, I'm not, so don't. My daughter has 3 children, twins that are 17, and big sister who has just turned 18 in November, who is getting ready to go off to college and driving us all crazy. So I'm also a widow. My husband and I moved here in 2011, and I am a retired school teacher. I also owned a beauty salon for 22 years in Silver Spring, Maryland. So when you try to add those figures up and look at me, don't, okay? Don't put the numbers together, okay? So anyway, that's a little bit of a background on me. I came here, like most of you, I'm sure, as a retiree. I had the T-shirt that said I'm retired and I don't want to do anything but do what I want to do. But fortunately or unfortunately, I got involved with reestablishing Charlotte County's NAACP. In that involvement, yes. And it took quite some work to get it reestablished. But in that involvement, I volunteered to be the vice president because I never felt like I was presidential material, number one. And number two, I just didn't want it. You know, I was like, I'm retired. I don't want to do nothing. So, but anyway, the president had to step down due to Ian happening and his business and all the things that he was involved with. He didn't have the time, so that moved me up to president. So now our branch has me. And I am truly, truly excited. You know, I came into it kicking and screaming. I didn't want to do it, and I begged him not to step down. But now that I'm in it, and I've been in it since March, I'm really so excited of all the good that we are doing in Charlotte County. So, with that being said, let me tell you a little bit about Black History Month. Black History Month is an important time to reflect on the many contributions of Black Americans to our society. It is a time to celebrate the achievements of Black Americans throughout history and to recognize the ongoing struggle for equality and justice. Black History Month is not just about the struggles Black families have been through, but rather it is a time of rejoicing, celebrating accomplishments, integrity, leadership, and determination, and showing true character. We honor history and celebrate the progress that we have made. We are resilient and resolute in creating new opportunities for future generations. We shall not be moved. So, moving on to the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. We are an interracial American organization. It was created to work for the abolition of segregation and discrimination in housing, education, employment, voting, and transportation, as well as to oppose racism and to ensure African Americans their constitutional rights. We are one of the largest and oldest American civil rights group in the United States. The NAACP was established in February 1909 in New York City by an interracial group of activists, partially in response to the 1908 Springfield race riot in Illinois. In that event, 2 Black men being held in a Springfield jail for alleged crimes against white people were transferred to a jail in another city. This spurred a white mob to burn down 40 homes in Springfield's Black residential district, ransack local businesses, and murder 2 Blacks. So after the occurrence of that, the NAACP founders, which was, as I said, a group of interracial folks, one by the name of Mary White Ovington, and I wanted to just give you a little bit of information about a few of these folks. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but Mary White, where's my, okay, maybe I won't. No, I will, just give me a second. Give me a second to get it together. Okay, here we go. So, Mary White Ovington was born in Brooklyn, New York. She was an activist. She was one of the white reformers who joined African Americans in founding the NAACP. 3 days before the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, Ovington was reared up in an upper middle class home by abolitionist parents. Her beliefs in social reform and women's rights were also shaped by the Reverend John White Chadwick. Her studies at the Harvard Annex, later called Radcliffe College, and Cambridge had already convinced her that social problems are attributable to economic class, when the Depression of 1893 necessitated her withdrawal from school. So you see, she had a broad background already in social injustices and also being a female in women's rights, even back then. I mean, we think we got it bad now. Can you just imagine what she went through, back then? So moving right along, after the Springfield riots, this group, made up of Mary White Ovington, Henry Moskowitz, William English Walling, and Oswald Garrison Villiard, along with such African Americans as W.E.B. Du Bois, and I'm sure most of you all know Du Bois was an extreme activist back in the day. Today, he would have probably been considered a liberal. He did catch a lot of flack from the black community who were conservative at that time. And so the NAACP was not an organization in the beginning that a lot of people in the black community looked up to, because they kind of felt like Du Bois is one of those liberalists who, segregation, we need equality and not integration. All we need is our own equality. We can be separate, that's all good. Du Bois was not one of those. He was like the Dr. King of his time. So he was also one of the founders. And then, I'm getting myself all mixed up here because I'm getting too excited. I do love talking about this, but I want to get back to where I was. I don't want to get myself mixed up here. Let's see. I'm kind of mixed up now. Okay. All right, so anyway, Du Bois, along with Ida B. Wells, she was a activist also back in the day. They were the only two black members of this group that founded the NAACP in the very beginning. And so, I got to get back. Hold on a minute, you guys. Just give me a minute and let me get my thoughts back to order. I hate it when I do this. I shouldn't have got my papers all out of order. Okay. So anyway, that was the beginning of the NAACP. Put my papers in the wrong order. So anyway, that was the beginning of the NAACP. And in the beginning, as I said, it wasn't an easy task to form an organization like that. And so after the 1900s, the NAACP started taking off, but it was very hard for us to get moving because, as I said, it wasn't like the community welcomed us. And so it took a while for us to get started. And I'm still trying to find my place, so just...
Connie, if you want to kind of reorganize those very disorganized
I think I'm there.
papers,
I think I'm there.
I can help because,
I'm there.
okay.
Okay. So in 1910, the NAACP began publishing a quarterly magazine called The Crisis. For its first 24 years, it was edited by Du Bois. Many of the NAACP's actions have focused on national issues. For example, the group helped persuade U.S. President Woodrow Wilson to denounce lynching in 1918. Other areas of activism have involved political action to secure enactment of civil rights laws, programs of education and public information to win popular support, and direct action to achieve specific goals. In 1939, the NAACP established an independent legal arm for the civil rights movement. It is called the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. It litigated to the Supreme Court Brown versus Board of Education, which I'm sure you have all heard of. That case resulted in the High Court's landmark 1954 school desegregation decision. The organization had also won a significant victory in 1946 with Morgan versus Virginia, which successfully barred segregation and interstate travel, setting the stage for freedom rides of 1961. So after that came the murder of NAACP field director Medgar Evers in 1963. This gave the group prominence, likely contributed to the passage of Voting Rights Act in 1965. In the 1980s, the NAACP publicized opposition to apartheid policies in South Africa. The organization moved its headquarters from New York City to Baltimore, Maryland, and now we have branches all over the United States. In the turn of the century, the NAACP sponsored campaigns against youth violence, encouraged economic enterprise among African Americans, and led voter drives to increase participation in the political process. That gives you a brief beginning of the history of the NAACP. So people ask, what does the NAACP do? Let me explain the structure of the NAACP. The national office, as I said, is located in Baltimore, the Washington, D.C. area. The NAACP has state conferences. Under those state conferences are branches, college chapters, and youth councils. We are divided into 7 regions all across the U.S. We have regions in the West, the Northwest, the Midwest, the Rocky Mountains, and the South, the Southwest, and the Mid-Atlantic. So, of course, Florida is in the South. State conferences provide leadership for local branches, youth councils, and college chapters. Regions and state conferences also offer coordination of support and resources across the U.S. that are necessary to unify our community and sustain and amplify our efforts. Local branches, which is what we are the powerful voice in the community. We are in some of the most segregated cities in America where we know we need a watchdog fighting for us. We are the ones that work towards getting justice, equality, health, safety, advocacy and litigation, education. So in short, the branch, which is what 5093B is, we are the boots on the ground for the community. We then answer to the state, which in our case is the state of Florida. The state then answers to the national, which is located in Washington, D.C. So whenever you hear of things happening or on TV, someone, president of, say, Lee County is on the news advocating for someone that has been treated unjustly by law enforcement or whatever, he's not just doing that on his own. We have a hierarchy that we have to answer to as well. So whenever things go on in the community here in Charlotte County, if it gets to a point, we then have to be advised by the state and the region and then the national. So that is why when the Babcock Ranch racial bullying situation happened, it went viral. But I don't want to get ahead of myself for that. I am going to come back to that. So getting back to what we do, in advocacy, we work to make sure Black voices are heard, demands are met, and Black excellence is amplified. We work from classrooms, courtrooms, city halls, Congress. Our network of members across the country work to secure the social and political power that will end race-based discrimination. For years, the NAACP has been fighting against racism and discrimination in communities across the country. So with that being said, let me just briefly tell you, so that I don't bore you, what Branch 5093B is doing in Charlotte County. I started talking about the racial bullying at Babcock Ranch. So that occurred in the fall of last year. The event went viral. Calls were coming from Washington, D.C. to the Florida State Conference, wanted to know what was going on and how were we handling the situation. So Charlotte County School Board and the Babcock Ranch School Administration got off on the wrong foot. They didn't handle the situation with transparency. That started the whole ball rolling. The NAACP in Lee County was called. The president, James Muwakil, was called, and he started handling the situation, only to find out that 90% of Babcock Ranch is in Charlotte County. So then Charlotte County president was called in, and then Lee County turned it over to us to handle, Charlotte County to handle. So we got in touch, meaning our education committee, which is made up of about 5 members, and some of your church members are in our education committee. We got involved, we called for a meeting with the Charlotte County School of Superintendents, Mark Vianella, who was very gracious, met with us. We had a 2-hour meeting, and we asked to have a meeting with Shannon Treese, who was the administrator, or is the administrator, of Babcock Ranch Schools. Now, Babcock Ranch is a whole nother ballgame. They are under Charlotte County's school board umbrella, but only as far as safety and finances go. So they have their own school board. So we then asked for a meeting with the administrator of the Babcock Ranch. And Mark graciously called the meeting. We had the meeting at his office. The meeting was attended with the NAACP, several parents from Babcock Ranch, several residents from Babcock Ranch, and parents whose children had been bullied, both not only racially, but sexually. We had like about 12 people at this table. So it took 2 hours, but we came away from that meeting feeling genuinely heard, as well as being provided the valuable information about the school's efforts to address the issue of racial bullying in the schools. We also formed a partnership with both school boards. So the key takeaways from that meeting, the Babcock Neighborhood School and Babcock High School Administration, along with the NAACP, were putting in place a more impactful plan to address the safety issues, which encompasses all students. Parents are included, teachers, and staff. The committee is made up of NAACP representatives, along with the parents and Babcock residents. We are giving feedback as the plan unfolds. The parents offered specific incidents where students of color were either subjected to or witnessed incidents of racial bullying in both the neighborhood school as well as the high school. So the committee has strongly felt that greater trust among the students and parents of those bullied can only be achieved through a greater culture of respect for all students and greater accountability for any student who commits this infraction. We asked for 0 tolerance for bullying of any kind. There were consensus that tolerance of racial bullying starts in a student's home, which will require significant strengthening of school policy and culture to mitigate negative attitudes students may bring into the school environment. We realize this didn't happen overnight, and this is not going to be solved overnight. So we now are in a good position where it's an ongoing. We are attending meetings monthly. We have a focus group that has formed at Babcock Ranch with the students, the schools, the parents, and the entire community. The NAACP got in touch with the Department of Justice because we thought we were going to have to take it to a federal level. Once the Department of Justice got involved, the NAACP National Office wanted us to make sure that the DOJ's partnership was included in with this process. So we are now a part of a program that the Department of Justice has put together, and it is through a diverse group at Babcock Ranch working with us in partnership that we are now going to institute this program. The program, and you can look this up online, the program is by the Department of Justice. It's called United Against Hate. It's a community outreach program. It aims to provide hate crime reporting by teaching community members how to identify and report and help prevent hate crimes, and building trust between law enforcement and communities. So this program is now going to be established at the schools. Babcock Ranch community is going to have an affair on March 4th where they are going to share this program with the entire community at the field house. I don't know if it's open to the public, but check out Babcock Ranch's website. It's going to be March 4th. It's going to be at the, I want to say it's at the stadium where they hold the games. So it should include a lot or most of the community. It'll be from 4 to 6 p.m. So that's where we are with Babcock Ranch. We feel like, you know, we're in a good place right now with Babcock Ranch, so we feel like we're in the mix. We're now partners, we're working, and this is going to be ongoing. It's not going to, as I said, change overnight. And then the last thing I want to talk about is our Criminal Justice Committee, who's headed up by Linda Richardson, one of your members, brought to our attention last week about a fellow who was in the correctional institution, and in 2014 he was brutally killed. He was bludgeoned. I can't even explain all the things that they did to this young man. And it was only like a week or two before he was to be let out of prison. And it was from an infraction that supposedly happened in the middle of the night that shouldn't even have happened, where one of the officers came in and asked him to remove a cup and a magazine. And from that, and he didn't, he refused because it was unwarranted. And so from that, 10 of the correctional officers jumped him. His name is Matthew Walker. They stomped him. They beat him to death. And no one has ever had to accept responsibility for that act. So on Thursday, February 15th at 9:30 a.m., there is a hearing. It's going to be at the Justice Center at Punta Gorda, and we are going to be there. I'm sure you're going to be hearing more about this because we are just in the beginning stages of this going on, and we definitely are going to we are going to get involved in what's going on and see if we can't get some justice for this family. And so on the local level, that's what the branch is doing. These are just some of the things that we are involved with. We attend the school board meetings monthly. We are involved with most of the churches, and now we are considering UU on our radar screen. So all of this is what the local branch in Charlotte County is doing. So in closing, each and every NAACP member makes a difference to the complex ongoing work of advancing racial equity. We have driven the hardest fought wins for civil rights and social justice. And we're hoping with you by our side, we can celebrate the next milestone for Black Americans. We already know that a lot of your members are our members. And so because I see faces that I see all the time, I almost feel like I'm at home now. You know, it's not a hardship being up here in front of you because I feel like I know a lot of you all. But anyway, will you join this multi-generational network of activists dismantling structural racism by using your power to act on the most pressing issues of our time? If you're not a member, will you become a member of 5093B? We are having a fundraising dinner February 17th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Cooper Street Rec Center. We also hold our monthly membership meetings the fourth Thursday of the month at Cooper Street Rec Center from 6:30 to 8 p.m. We will be celebrating Black History Month at the February 22nd meeting. Several of the original Black folks from Cooper Street community will give us a brief history of what their life was like back in the day. We know we always honor Black History Month, those folks that have made a big chink in that chain, but we sometimes forget about the little people who are right in our community to give them honor. So that's what we are going to be doing at the membership meeting on the 22nd. And one of our speakers will be Marquise McKenzie. He is from the FRRC. And so he's going to give us an update also on what's happening with the former felons and what's going on in the state with them. So I welcome all of you all to come. You're all invited. And anytime anyone from the UU wants to come and speak to our membership, we'd be more than happy to have anyone come. And so thank you for having me today. I appreciate the invite, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you, Connie.
I didn't ask her any questions.
Well, Connie, we're going to give people a chance to ask questions and talk with you. The likelihood is that the social time after this service is an excellent opportunity to learn more about NAACP and the local branch. I'm a flexible Unitarian Universalist, and this program is not going as planned, and I've just lost a lot of the pieces that I should know about. I know one of the things that we're going to do is sing a song. So I'd like to move us to our next song, which is in the Gray Hymnal, number 168. 169, good, that one. And if you would all like to stand, that's a wonderful thing, and let's sing it well. We're going to get through this. The Book of Life is a long tradition at the UUFCC, sharing our joys and sorrows and life milestones by entering them into the book. These messages can be written in the Red Book, which is at the back of the sanctuary. Those at home are welcome to email your entries to bookoflife@UUFCC. We also embrace the tradition of dropping stones in the bowl. The water symbolizes the community and the stones represent your joy or sorrow. Our free first read the entries in the Book of Life, which is for February 11th from Joseph Fenty. Today I wish to recognize the birthday of Charles Darwin, one of the greatest scientists in all of human history. He was born on February 12th, 1809. His ideas and research helped me understand my place in the biodiversity of life on the planet and inspired me to use scientific reasoning to understand the world and the state of things as they actually exist. Please share birthday cake after the service today. Vegan and non-vegan food options are available. The refreshments will be available in the fellowship hall. Seeking healing thoughts for Carolyn B., who is suffering from pancreatitis. The Immigration Justice Committee is co-sponsoring a fundraiser with the Congregational United Church of Christ, a Beatles concert for Saturday, March 16th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Congregational United Church of Christ of Acqui Esta Drive in Punta Gorda. Tickets are $25. Please see Betty after the service. Thank you all for your support. Betty. Ed Conrad, husband of our beloved Debbie, is resting at home and awaiting a heart cath to be done tomorrow. We care, yes. UUFCC is a member of newly formed Social Justice Alliance of the Florida Sun Coast, and we are sponsoring our first event, the Right to Read Festival, Saturday, February 24th at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the UU Venice. Please attend. Thank you. And now I invite you to come forward and drop a stone either in silence or brief share out loud.
So I drop a stone. First of all, everybody make sure that you introduce yourself to Destiny out in the kitchen. She's our new kitchen coordinator. So she started this morning. So I'll be in and out of services for a couple weeks to help her learn the kitchen a little bit. And then I drop my second stone in honor of Black History Month and in honor of the fact that we have to remember, as just like as a member of the LGBTQ community and having our straight allies, that as white people with our inherent white privilege, we have to use that privilege in a way to help others that don't have it. And that's our duty as UUs, to stand up for people that are being mistreated, especially solely on things like race and gender and sexuality. And that's what we are called to do as UUs.
This stone is in memory of my cousin Charlie Bryant, who passed away last week due to lung disease. And this stone is in remembrance of Phyllis Ann Mayo, who died last week. And I'm not sure what she died of, but she's a cousin of my husband. So that's it.
Hi, this stone is for my good friend Lori, who is having a very difficult time right now, and I hope we keep her in our prayers. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm dropping a stone in. I had attended a grant writing course last week as announced from somebody here last Sunday. And the one thing I got out of it, which was not probably what they intended, somebody said isolation is the #1 health risk in the United States. So which then I honor NAACP, my PFLAG meeting, and I'm hoping to have more social gatherings in the future for the PFLAG. And also, of course, our wonderful church, that people have an opportunity not to be alone.
That song is in gratitude to you all. A year and 3 months ago, the Immigration Justice decided to participate in the CAPAS project, and we went ahead and accepted a young family of asylum seekers, a mother and 2 children. And all of you, whether you were full-heartedly in accordance to that, all of you stepped up and participated, providing rides for the mother, providing English lessons, giving them, welcoming them here, and it's just being there. And I forgot to mention that fundraiser is for our CAPAS family. We have come a long way. The mother has recently obtained her work permit, and she is in a better place. We're getting her training, and we're preparing her to stand on her own independently. So I'm really grateful to all of you. All of you, we wouldn't have been able to do this without you stepping up. And all of you have stepped up in one way or another. So I'm really grateful for finding you 7 years ago when I joined the UU. And the work you do in the community is wonderful. And the support you give to all these nonprofits. Nobody else is doing what we are doing here. And it's too bad we cannot attract more young people. But at this point, I'm very proud of all of you. And I thank you. And I hope you could buy some tickets. I'll be in the back. Thank you.
This last stone represents unspoken joys and sorrows in our hearts. May we hold these in each other in love and tenderness, so that this fellowship may be a source of strength and comfort, courage and hope in the days and weeks ahead. Please join me for a moment of silence. And now I have to notice that we've reached our moment of truth. This is the moment when some folks want to call it an hour. But the likelihood is that if you stay for the rest of the service, you'll be even happier. We're going to rise in spirit and body and sing number 149 in the gray hymnal, Lift Every Voice. And now we're going to do the offering, which is in the tradition of Unitarian Universalism. Congregation exists because of the generous support of members and friends. It is our privilege and our responsibility to ensure the health and future of this fellowship. We have several ways you can give, and the basket being passed around with the Venmo app made in the UUFCC offering. You can mail a check to the office. If you are here for the first time, please don't feel obligated to give. You are our guest today. We will accept the offering first for the congregation. The second basket will be for the benefit of the NAACP. It is through this gesture of common purpose and cooperation that we demonstrate support for their work. Please be generous. Thank you for the support for this fellowship. In the life of the community, it's time to highlight UUFCC's events and activities. The back of the order of service has this week's calendar. Also, the weekly update has a calendar, so check that as well. Today I have several announcements besides the ones that were in the the book. There are 2 free tickets which have been donated for the Beatleology fundraiser concert on Saturday, March 16th. Please see Lori D. if you're interested. The Lunch Bunch will meet at Perkins on Tamiami Trail, just past Cochrane Boulevard on the right, after we socialize. And the Charlotte County branch of the NAACP has a fundraising spaghetti dinner on February 17th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Cooper Street Recreation Center on 650 Mary Street. Thank you for those, and I'm sure if there are others, we're going to hear about them after the service. Our closing words this morning are also found in the gray hymnal, number 692, from Laurel and Bellamy. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another, that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace. May it be so. Amen. And we're going to extinguish the chalice. I now invite Laura to come up and extinguish the chalice. Please join me in reciting the words in the order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. May those ideals shine in our lives and warm our hearts until we meet together again. And the ending music, number 116, you're voluntarily going to sing that. Stand up, enjoy it, and it's gone. You've been wonderfully patient, so thank you all very, very much. The gray hymnal, I'm on my way, appropriately.
Bye.